Esteemed colleagues from the Supreme Court of India, Justice Ehsanuddin Amanullah, Justice Rajesh Bindal, both gracing the dais, Justice Sudhir Singh, Acting Chief Justice, High Court of Patna and Chancellor of Chanakya National Law University, Shri Sunil Kumar, Honorable Minister of Education, Government of Bihar, distinguished sitting and former judges of the High Court of Patna, learned Advocate General, learned Chief Secretary, learned Director General of Police, senior civil and police administration officers of the Government of Bihar, Shri Manan Kumar Mishra, Senior Advocate, Chairman Bar Council of India and Member Rajya Sabha, Shri Ramakant Sharma, Chairman Bihar Bar Council, Professor Dr. Faizan Mustafa, learned Vice Chancellor of Chanakya National Law University. I could also see a very distinguished team of serving and former Vice Chancellors of various national law universities who are also present here. Professor S.K. Singh, Registrar of the CNLU, Dean, members of the faculty, teaching and non-teaching staff of the Chanakya National Law University, Registrar General, judicial officers, other registrars and officers of the establishment of the Patna High Court, and members of the Bihar State Judicial Services, proud parents and family members, but most importantly, my dear graduating students of Chanakya National Law University. In fact, many of you are already graduate, so only that a confirmation of the formal degree today. Ladies and gentlemen, friends from media, before I commence my formal convocation address, I think this is the apt time and occasion that I must convey my thanks to the Government of Bihar for allocating 7 acres additional land to Chanakya National Law University. I convey these thanks to the state government because that shows the vision, the commitment, and a long-term investment in the field of education by a state which undoubtedly will bear fruits in future. A convocation marks a rare pause in the legal arc of learning. It is meant to be a brief moment where all your efforts are acknowledged, even as your new responsibilities begin. For this purpose, it is a privilege to share some such moments with you today. On the past year, I have had the opportunity to attend several convocation ceremonies, and each time I am reminded of the distinctive energy they carry. In fact, if I calculate correctly, today's convocation might be my 12th or 13th, and 3 more in pipeline in January and February itself. There is celebration in the air, relief on many faces, and if I may say so, a trace of disbelief among the graduates that this chapter has truly drawn to a close. For some of you, it may feel as if you arrived only yesterday. For others, it may seem as though you have lived several lives on this campus already. It is a genuinely refreshing to stand before so many bright, eager, faces at the threshold of what comes next. But I'm so proud to hear from the learned Vice Chancellor that many of you have already chosen the judicial services as your career. Those who have embarked upon the different ways of life, either in profession or in judicial services, my heartiest congratulations and all the best wishes to each one of you. Before I proceed, I wish to express my sincere gratitude to Professor Dr. Faizan Mustafa for his gracious invitation to be here today. I have known him for many decades and have seen him grow from a committee teacher and a constitutional scholar to a widely respected pioneer in legal education. Across the university, several universities which he has led, commencing, as I know, as a registrar of the Aligarh Muslim University, a very senior professor in that university, then Vice Chancellor of NLU Cuttack, then Nalsar Hyderabad, before he accepted the stewardship of Vice Chancellorship in this Chanakya National University. He has consistently shown how academic leadership can be both intellectually rigorous and deeply student-centered. His belief that university must be shaped in classrooms rather than offices has left a lasting imprint wherever he has served in the past. I recollect as a senior judge of my parent High Court, I had the privilege of availing his services for some highly confidential work. The way he led the team with absolute integrity, commitment, professionalism, and extraordinary ability left an everlasting imprint in my mind about the distinguished and eminent jurist deep within him. It is for these reasons I am so confident that under his stewardship, Chanakya National Law University will continue to make significant strides in educational standards, institutional growth, and national standing, and it is heartening to see that this campus is befitting from his vision and enthusiasm. The very fact that, as he announced, now one of the journal has graded you at number 4 in the national grading. Coupled with leadership and administration, I also believe that the true character of an institution is revealed by the ideas it chooses to hold closest to its heart. In my opinion, it is therefore apt that this university carries the name of Chanakya, a thinker who believed deeply in effort, discipline, and responsibility. One of his simplest observations was that, and I quote, "A person is not made great by birth or position. It is by deeds." It is an idea that resonates strongly on a day like today. Each one of you sitting here has arrived at this moment not by accident or by inheritance or entitlement. Rather, through years of sustained effort, through late nights, hectic schedules, moments of self-doubt, and quiet perseverance. Your degrees are not symbols of where you come from. They are acknowledgements of what you have already demonstrated the capacity to do. As I stand before you to deliver this address, I feel a deep appreciation for the soil beneath us and the legacy that it carries. After all, the life of the law has not been logic, it has been experience. This land, the cradle of great thinkers of logic and jurisprudence, has long been a meeting point of ethics, reason, and justice. From the compassion of Buddha to the moral clarity of Mahavir, from Dr. Rajendra Prasad's humble dedication to Sachidanand Sinha's service or Jayaprakash Narayan Sampurna Kranti, Bihar has shaped ideas that speak not merely to faith but to fairness in public life. These traditions and contributions span from the state's ancient history to the annals of our freedom struggle and modern times. In fact, they remind us that justice is not an abstract concept, but a lived commitment to reduce suffering, to act without bias, and to place human dignity at the center of all decision making. It is most fitting that students trained in the law should begin their professional journey in a place where these ideas first took shape. In that sense, today marks a moment of completion, but not of finality. When you leave CNLU, not with all the answers, but with sharper questions. And that is exactly how it should be, because the world you are stepping into is not a finished world. It is complex, impatient, and often contradictory. The law you will practice is also unfinished, constantly evolving, sometimes struggling to keep pace with reality. And that is why I want to speak to you today about becoming whole lawyers in an incomplete world. Why I am talking about lawyers is that those who have opted for judicial services have done commendably good, but those who are yet to join the services, my request will be to think of joining the bar. And therefore, wherever I go to NLUs, I always impress upon that you should become members of the bar. The Indian Bar Association, the legal community, the legal fraternity needs so many graduates from the national law schools practicing at the bar. You should aspire to be lawyers who are grounded in self-belief, steadfast in the face of setbacks, and human enough to remember that the law is a profession you serve, not a force that should consume you. You should have the conviction to know your worth. At the heart of the long journey lies something fundamental, namely having the conviction to know your worth. As you step out of the university and into the workforce, as some of you already have, the world will be eager to evaluate you. It will assign you value through designations, rankings, first postings, chambers, salaries, and the speed with which you appear to be doing well. None of these is irrelevant, but none of it is definite either. Your significance does not begin with your first belief, nor does it end with a rejection letter. That you always keep in mind. Too often, young lawyers are taught to lower their expectations, to be grateful for less, to wait longer than necessary, to hesitate before claiming space. This is not a question of arrogance or comparison. It is a matter of self-recognition. I want to tell you that ambition, when anchored in effort and tempered by responsibility, is not something to apologize for. It is often the very force that allows individuals to grow into the roles that the field and society ultimately need them to occupy. My young friends, if you ever doubt your capacity, think back to the confidence with which you walked into the Viva examinations, armed with notes, only to realize 5 minutes in that you knew far more than you feared. Recall the resolve it took to navigate packed schedules, sudden postponements, and deadlines that always seemed to arrive earlier than announced. Those moments, modest as they may seem now, were early lessons in backing yourself. You have already survived one of the most intellectually demanding courses our country offers, and in that struggle, you have built a foundation of rigor and courage. the ability to prepare thoroughly, hold your ground respectfully, and speak without shrinking is not something you will discover after graduation. You have been practicing it here, sometimes unknowingly, all alone. Therefore, you need to have a conviction to resilience. Once you become assured of your value, the next lesson follows naturally. Question: setbacks do not define you, nor do they diminish you. This is important to say on a day filled with success and celebrations, because the road ahead will not always look like today. There will be a few disappointments. Some will be minor and forgettable. Others may linger longer than you expect. In practice, you will face complexities no textbook could fully capture. A case you prepared with care may be lost. An opportunity you hoped for may fall through. And a plan you were confident about may suddenly unravel. But always remember that you are not alone. We have all had our fair share of such experiences in life. Let me share a brief experience from my times as the executive chairman of the State Legal Service Authority when I was in my parent High Court. One evening, after the day's work had concluded, a young lawyer approached. He came to my chamber following the dismissal of a matter he had pursued with great sincerity as a legal aid counsel. So he came to me. He thought that there might be some complaint that he lost the case as a legal aid counsel. The disappointment weighed heavily on him. He was heartbroken and spoke as though that single setback at the nascency of his career had already written the story of his entire future. I reminded him that no legal career is shaped by its early losses, but by the resolve with which we respond to them. After sending him back from the chamber, I instructed my member secretary that immediately assign the appeal case also to this very lawyer in the matter. After 3-4 days, when he got a letter that he is also engaged to file the appeal, he was a bit surprised, and he really then put more hard work, and to his own pleasant surprise, he succeeded in appeal. The appeal was allowed, and the matter which he failed before the trial court, that eventually came to be decided in his favor. The question was not of losing the case or winning the case. I am only talking about how the confidence at the initial level is sometimes eroded by certain circumstances or the events. That conversation with that young lawyer, and subsequently when he came with a smiling face, that has really stayed with me, because the advice I offered him is one I have often returned to myself. In the law, an early setback is seldom a final word. More often, it is an opportunity to pause, learn, and return with great clarity and renewed determination. The law, after all, does not reward immediate success alone. It tests endurance, reflection, and